Hi, Joe Cerrone. I'm going to make an addendum to this video for CAD-118 Advanced AutoCAD. In the YouTube exercise, the video right here.
Not too worried about the size. Let's try to make it a little bit bigger. If you wanted to make it a little bit bigger, you can scale it. You can move that over a little bit. F9 turns off.
Lose this audio, and then I switch over into the paper space and lay things out. And so I'm just making a video here to fix that. Alrighty, so here's the completed exercise, and it's basically a cube with UCSs on each side. We draw that in model space, and so here I am in model space, and you can see I've got the completed cube. And what you want to do is to look at it in an isometric view so that you can see the entire object. If you click on it, right click, you can do a quick properties and see if it's a solid or a wireframe. So this is a solid, which means I can do Boolean activities with it, meaning like subtract and union. Where I left off was putting the 3-point UCS on, and I was using a toolbar for the UCS, which is a great way to work with it. And so if I turn on the toolbar, and then I just have to figure out where it was docked on my screen. So continuing, so here's my toolbar for my 3-point UCS, and when I work with that, what I do is I click on the 3-point UCS, and then with my O snaps I can place that on the side. And so the first point that you locate is the origin, second point is the X positive axis, and then the third is the Y positive axis, and then the Z axis will come out of the screen towards you. So if I were to draw now on that, and let's go and just choose a color that we can see, and then if I wanted to draw a circle, I could draw a circle on this plane right here, and it comes out in the XY plane or in the XY axis. And same thing if I wanted to, like extrude that or something like that, I can say extrude. I can select that object, hit enter, and then extrude that. And I like to work in wireframe and toggle back and forth between conceptual, depending on the graphics card for the computer. Sometimes you need to get it out of conceptual mode and work on it in wireframe. And then I was going shift right mouse click, and then I was putting 3-point UCSs on. So we can go put another UCS on here, origin, positive X, positive Y, and then if I wanted to put some text on that, I could go here to the text command, and we could use multi-line text, and I could put a little box on here. Kind of walked on me a little bit, I'll probably have to move it. And so I'm in the XY plane, I'm just moving it over onto the surface of the part. That. And then in the other part of the video, what I did was I put it onto the layout. And so if we switch over to our title block, and you can see I have 2 layout tabs here, layout 1, layout 2, and then I have the ANSIB title block. And so here you can see it's updated the information in the viewports for that. If I wanted to add another one, what I can do is I can right click, and I could say move or copy. And then what I do is I say create a copy, move it to the end, and I say OK. And then it'll create a copy here at the end. And then all I'm going to do is redo these viewports. And so let's get rid of this one first. and then we'll put these other ones in. And so here's the original title block that we have. And if you don't have a title block, what you can do is you can right mouse click and you can say from template, and then you can go and download a template from the D2L and add it. So if I want to put in a viewport, what I would do is I would say view, and I like to put the viewports on the viewport layer, keeping things organized with layers. View, viewport, one viewport, and then I'm just going to go like that. And then I can double click in that viewport. I can scale it a little bit. You can change the visibility of the viewports and things like that. If you bounce out of the viewport and then click on the viewport, and then if you right click on it, there's all these things you can do with the viewports. And so one of the things you can do would be to have it set up as a shade plot, and that way when it prints, it will be printed that way. I'm going to take that back off. Let's just go back to wireframe. These other viewports are scaled at different scales. And so here's the top view, front view. To put in another viewport that would be the top view, I'm going to erase this one. And then I'm going to use the same technique. I'm on the viewport layer. I'll say view, viewport, one viewport, and then I'll just use an O-snap to kind of put that viewport there. I'll double click in the viewport, and then I will set the scale here to 1/4 of an inch. And we'll set that and I'm surprised I don't have a 1 = 4, so I'm going to add it. And then I'm going to set it. And the viewport's a little bit small, and so what I really need to do is to just change the size of this other viewport. And then bring this one out so that we can see it. So viewports are objects that you can move within and move around, and then you can set these different scales. And so here's another viewport, and the only difference is I put a 1/8 inch scale. Here we are again with the 1/4 and a 1/4. Alrighty, that ends this addendum to that videotape that lost the audio.